Hi guys, I'm Becca Otis from Five Lines Pottery, and I'm located in Van.
And I'm Ryan Durbin from RD Ceramics, located in Highland Heights, Kentucky.
And welcome to Wheel Talk. I haven't even done GarageBand. Are we doing GarageBand, or are we just sticking to?
No, we would stick to this, of course.
Okay, so no GarageBand today.
Easy peasy, yeah.
Wow, look at you.
We're live.
We're live. What's going on, Ryan?
Hello.
Oh, I just realized I have a squeaky chair. It's okay.
That's all right. I have a squeaky chair, and I have had squeaky chairs for a long time, so it's whatever.
Wow. We are live. Oh my God. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm getting ready for a art show this weekend at the Madison Chautauqua in Madison, Indiana.
Yeah.
Second year there, so looking forward to that. Getting prepared.
I got accepted into that show, and I actually ended up rejecting them.
Wait, I thought. Oh, because you're at the Beals. Did you forget, like when you applied? Did you know the timing of that it was going to overlap and conflict with your?
No, I forgot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Such a bummer. I paid like $30 for the application, but it's all good.
Okay. Would you try it next year then?
It depends. If the Beals are having their party at the same weekend, then no.
Okay.
Okay.
I know the way that it falls, they usually do it the last full weekend of September.
Yeah.
But this is a weird year because September ends on Saturday and then October starts on Sunday. So you would think that it wouldn't really fall this way. So next year it's actually going to be most likely the same weekend as the Pottery Tour.
But what if you're in the Pottery Tour?
I'm going to have to skip Madison, I guess. Yeah. So.
Do you think you'll be in the Pottery Tour?
Yes. Trevor asked me.
When did he ask you?
He asked me a couple months back.
Why didn't you tell me?
I think it was a few months back.
You never told me.
No, I must have forgot.
Sure.
You did the Pottery Tour. You were at a new stop.
Isaac told me yesterday that you're going to be at Trevor's stop, and I was like, he didn't tell me. And I was like, Trevor,
So you knew it.
Well, I found out yesterday, and I was like, Ryan doesn't like me anymore. He never tells me anything. Also, Isaac said he has a crush on you, but he's not gay, so.
I think so I just made a pot of chili, and I was like, Isaac, are you can I bring you some chili to the Pottery Tour? And he's like, oh, hell yeah, man, I can eat that. I'm not, there's nothing in there that's gluten or whatever. So I was gonna bring him that, but he didn't show up. So.
Well, he doesn't eat red meat though.
I gave him the list of what was in there, and he said it was fine.
Well, maybe he's back to eating red meat.
Maybe he loves me because he's willing to eat the red meat,
Yeah, it's probably the crush.
There you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll be at the same stop next year.
Oh, we're not gonna be at the same stop. That's sad.
Be there again?
Well, I told Jesse if he doesn't invite us, we're gonna pull an Ensika on him and park up at the bank. We all agreed.
You're gonna imposter the.
Yeah. Me, Megan, and the Beals said that if he doesn't invite us, we're gonna make T-shirts that say "Not Pottery Tour" and be at the bank right next door.
The Shipshewana Pottery Tour.
Yeah. Shipshewana Not Pottery Tour.
That's funny.
So yeah, no. We basically threatened him and told him if he didn't invite us back next year, we're gonna be pissed. So.
So that must have meant it was worth it, huh?
I would say financially it wasn't worth it for me, but it was so much fun. And that's like half of it,
Yeah, I mean, the people you're around, what's not to like,
Yeah, like, so Jesse, okay, so we just had the Miss Shannon Pottery Tour this last weekend, and I was at Stop 4, which was Jesse from Riverwood Pottery, and it's like in town in Shipshewana, which is really unique for the Pottery Tour, because everywhere else is like at a house or at like a home studio or whatever.
Most
And
of them are kind of in the woods, and there's some that are like residential areas, and it's just like in their
right,
backyard. But
right, and so ours was really unique in that regard, and that was a lot of fun. And then Jesse had their neighbors who are Amish cater an entire meal, and Ryan was privy enough to be there for that, and that
thank you,
was
Isaac, for not being there. I had a seat
yeah,
at the
thanks,
I had a
Isaac.
seat at the table because Isaac and Karina were not there.
Yeah, and so that was amazing. I mean, honestly, you probably could have been there even if Isaac and Karina was there because there was so much freaking food.
Yeah.
And but that was like amazing, and we just like hung out. And I feel like normally in those circumstances I would have been like, man, I wish we could have like gone to a bonfire at somebody's house with all the other potters, but like I didn't. I feel like I didn't miss out at all
But I
because
mean, you were at a bonfire at a house with 10 potters. Like,
I know, but it was
at a bonfire with like 50 potters?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, like Sarah was like, hey, Nora's gonna have like chili and a bonfire if you want to come, and I was like, oh no, like Jesse invited us over for dinner, and it was just like really cool. And his parents have two houses, and they literally let all of the other Potters stay in their house. Like it wasn't like an Airbnb; it was like their house.
It sounds like Isaac let us stay at his parents' house that were right next door while we had the workshop.
Yeah, exactly like that. And I mean, I slept at Jesse's house because I have a van, and they have a farm, so it was easier to park in the van there. But yeah, it was just so much fun, and Jesse and Ariana are like the sweetest people, and
Hmm.
yeah, like Melissa Beal. I'm at the Beals house still. Melissa Beal was like, she was like, I feel like we totally won with Jesse's spot. You
Hmm.
know, yeah, it was great. So
Yeah,
10 out of 10.
it was a good time, definitely. Did you figure out how much like? How did the sales work? Do they take, because it's central cashier? Do they take a cut?
No, they didn't take a cut. He took out. So, from what I understand, they did the central cashiering so that they could know how much everybody made, and it was mostly for grant situations in the future. So, and like how much they need to give back or whatever like that. So, they didn't take a cut. It was just so that they could like know
Yeah,
numbers. And he took out like the 2.6%, you know, that
the square fees.
yeah, the square fees, but that's like whatever. I only made 780 but that's fine. It doesn't matter. Everybody else, like two of us made about that much, and then everybody else made like 13 to 1400.
And how much does it cost you to do it?
200.
200.
Well, technically 275 because of the Amish meal and like staying on the properties of them, you know. So, but yeah, worth every penny. It was great. And I feel like, I mean, I'd never really met Megan Darnell before. And
Yarnell.
what?
Yarnell with a Y. You said Darnell.
I did say Darnell. Megan
Darnell,
Yarnell.
Becca.
Darn Yelly.
She's hilarious, right?
So funny. I told her how much money I made at the show, and she was like, "That's pretty good." She goes, "I think you would have made more if you would have shown your tits a little more." She's like, "Gotta have a boob slip in there somewhere." And I was like, "You're killing it, Megan." She's like, "I've been flashing people." Like, keep in mind, she's like in a full t-shirt, like no cleavage at all. Like both of us had like nothing to show the whole weekend. It was hilarious.
Oh.
But yeah, I feel like I left with a new friend, and that was really great, you know?
Yeah.
Like new friends, and I finally met Brian Wilkerson, your man crush, and
Hilarious. We're gonna have him on the podcast for sure.
oh, for sure, for
Yeah.
sure.
And then when he gets around Meg, I mean, if people listen to the, you probably didn't listen to the podcast from us talking in the car, but we talked about Brian in the car with like Meg and Tony, and it was hilarious. And then you got to meet him in person around Meg too, so you saw like their dynamic, which is funny.
Did you guys drive with Brian when you went, or was it just Meg and Tony?
Just Meg and Tony, but we like talked about because
Yeah.
we were talking about who was there and like the
Like,
different
for
situations.
everybody listening, to kind of like give you an idea of how Brian is, he showed up to our stop in a Halloween costume, in a policeman's shirt, but it said cop. It said cop on the front, and it was like 4 sizes too big. And it was hysterical. And like he just like naturally had these, those like jumbo size glasses. Like he just naturally had those. Like I don't know why he decided to take them with him on the like
He
the
had him in his car, and he brought him in. He was like, "Oh, I forgot my glasses."
which they came in handy because Jesse has kids, so he was like,
He said, "Those are my driving glasses."
I
He said,
mean,
"It's funny when you're at a stoplight and you look over at somebody and they're like."
he's just so funny, and I just like want to be his friend so bad.
Oh my
So
God.
yeah, that was fantastic. It was just lovely to, and Erica came on the tour.
Yes, Erica came with me. So Erica and Brian, we met at my house and drove together. Brian's about 4 hours south of me, so he came up late Friday night, and then we went up Saturday morning. So
Oh my God, what did he say when he walked into your orange guest room?
oh, and he was like, "Oh, this is great. This is awesome." And then he didn't meet Rachel until we got back home on Sunday night, because she was asleep and stuff, and he didn't get in until like 1 in the morning, so she was already asleep on Friday night. So he was like, "Oh yeah, I just love your house. Like everything's just so like decorated and the attention to detail and everything like that." So he was like, he liked it. That was cool.
Yeah, I could tell. Like, I mean, I could imagine. Like, he really loved my jewelry. He was like, "Wow, this is so good," and like, I can tell that he likes design. Like, he's a really good fan of design.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was hilarious.
Oh, gosh.
So good.
Yeah. Oh. And some of his like, I'm sure he's probably like take him or leave him to some people because they don't really know what to expect, and they're like, "Is he fucking with me?"
Oh, Melissa Beal said that Erica was her favorite person on the tour. She's like, Erica was my favorite. We have a video of Erica. If you are listening now, it's on my reels, and it's of her calling a sheep.
Oh gosh, that was hilarious.
Doing her sheep call, and she sounds exactly like a sheep. It is so funny.
Oh man, and when we were over there and like they were doing it, Meg would laugh every time, and it would just make me crack up.
I know.
Hearing Meg laugh is just so contagious. It's, oh gosh, I don't know what it is, but it's funny.
Yeah.
Gosh.
It was just so good all around. I loved it.
Yeah.
Oh, also, I finally Thistlemore Pottery.
Yes. Japheth?
Japheth. His wife brought me caramel, and I have it, and it's delicious.
Is that how you say it? Caramel?
Caramel?
Caramel? Caramel? I say caramel.
Such a Kentuckian.
Caramel? Like Carmel, Indiana?
Yeah. But Carmel, Indiana should be Carmel.
Carmel.
Yeah, see it because it's Carmel,
Mm-hmm.
not caramel. I don't know. I don't know how to say anything.
Caramel. All right, so we'll both be at the pottery tour. It sounds like next year,
Well, we don't know if I'm going to be at the pottery
whether
tour,
you're invited or not.
but whether I'm invited or not, I'll be there.
We don't know, but man, some of these stops.
Officially.
So we got there Saturday, midday Saturday. We hit 8 stops total between Saturday and Sunday. It was a lot. I think I got about 10 pieces,
Nice.
maybe. A lot of mugs, a lot of it was split pretty 50-50 with like atmospheric fired work and like oxidation work. It's one of those where you do see a lot of like soda and wood and all those
Yeah.
kind of firings at the tour, whereas most like art shows you wouldn't really see many of those. So I think that makes it pretty unique, as well as like some of the locations. Like Trevor has a soda kiln, Justin has a soda and a wood kiln, Mark Getzner has a soda kiln and a wood kiln.
Right.
Like there's a lot of that, and Mark Getzner was like probably my favorite stop. You didn't get to see any of the other stops, right?
Just Justin's.
Yeah. See, that's one of the drawbacks of like the people that participate a lot is they don't get to see what anybody else's stop looks like. So it kind of sucks to not be able to do that. But I mean, y'all get together on Friday night and like get to hang out and stuff at Justin's. But
Yeah, but like you don't know, like I didn't know almost anybody at Justin's, you know, like and like I would know them if I just saw
Yeah.
them across the room, and like not everybody's bringing their stuff, you know.
right. So you probably only got to see the people's stuff that's set up at Justin's that
Yeah.
day.
Mostly, yeah.
Yeah. And then I think a bunch of people came in that morning and set up or something on Saturday.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Oh, I have a funny story of the. It's not really applied to the tour. It's really a funny situation about a show. Are you ready?
okay, let's hear it.
Okay, so a while back, somebody, I can't remember who it was, messaged me and was like, "Hey, you got to do the show. It's really good. I did it last year for the first time, and I did like $2,000. It was her first show ever, and she did like, you know,
First show ever. Wow.
yeah, and it was like a 1-day show. And she's like, it's in Goshen, and it's called this. And I was like, great. Like, I'll look into it. And so I signed up. It was like free to sign up for it, and they're going to email out like acceptance.
Yeah.
Right.
It's in Indiana, I'm guessing, right? So same place where the pottery tour was.
Hold, please. I'm telling my story.
Okay.
So I was like, yeah, it's in Goshen. And I was like, great, this is going to be so good. I'd love to come back up to Goshen. And so I'm telling Jesse about it. And I was like, with another person that also does a show around Goshen. I was like, yeah, I signed up for a show that's going to be like on October 30th in Goshen. And it's called, I can't even remember what it's called. But he's like, I've never heard of that. And I was like, well, I'm pretty positive it's up here. And so I like go back to my seat, and then I got on my phone and I looked it up. Motherfucking show's in Goshen, Kentucky.
Goshen, Kentucky. Oh my gosh.
Which actually works better for me because
Closer to Memphis.
but it's like
Where was this person local to though? Were they local to Kentucky?
I think so, yeah. And that's why I was kind of confused, and I was like, wow, you traveled far away. But it's in Goshen, Kentucky, and it's like 10 minutes away from your parents' house.
What?
Yeah, it's like
Goshen, Kentucky is not near Louisville, I don't think.
it's north of Louisville.
Are you sure it's Goshen, Kentucky?
Yes.
Okay. Actually, that is true.
Ha!
Just outside Prospect. That is tiny. Population 909 people.
Yeah. So anyway, I like, can you imagine if I hadn't checked that out like literally at the show? I would have gone to Goshen and then looked up the address and then been like, oh shit, it's in Kentucky.
Where is it? Is it at this church here or something? Like, there's nothing there.
I don't know. It's at a farm, I think.
The Glitz Farm. That's across the street. Maybe that's where it's at. Lando Goshen Farm Event Center. Probably where it's at.
Yeah, so
Wow. Okay. There's actually Goshen, Ohio. That's not too far from here. there's a little mix up when I was communicating with somebody about like, oh yeah, I'm going to Goshen on Saturday, and they're like, oh, can you swing by? I'm just in Milford or whatever, and I'm like, I'm going to Goshen, Indiana, and they're like, oh, that's way different than Goshen, Ohio.
Yeah. But like, I don't understand. I feel like in the western states, there's not as many like states that have the same exact towns.
But I feel like you would have seen that on the application.
Ryan, have you met me?
Ah, God, you need to get better about this. Maybe that's why you have somebody, an assistant, do this for you, right?
Yes, your wife.
Oh gosh.
Anyway, what are we talking about today?
We're talking about it is that time of year.
What time of year?
Pot swap.
Hot swap.
I need like a jingle or something.
I know, I was just thinking that.
It's the most wonderful time of the
Oh,
year.
year. Pot swap. Pot swap.
Dun, 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 dun. It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Pot swap. Yeah, so pot swap is coming up. So this is our informational pot swap. And I feel like we should go over the new stuff so the people that are like really familiar with pot swap don't have to listen to this whole episode.
Yes. So what's the extent of like everything we're going to cover, and then they can like know what they're going to get in the episode?
Yeah. Let's start off by saying what pot swap is.
It is a secret Santa among potters, not necessarily ceramic artists, whatever, where you're exchanging pots with somebody somewhere in the world, and you're going to get one in return.
Yep. And there are, let's see, this is our 6th year.
Yes.
We
started the first year with like 100 people.
Yep, 2023 is our 6th year. We started the first year with 123 people.
There you go.
I think 121, something there. And then we went to 200, and then we went to 400, and then we went to
800.
Then we went to 700.
720 or something like that.
720, and this year.
Last year we did 1,020.
1,020, and this year we are sticking at 1,000.
Yes.
And I'm sure it'll be like 1,020 or whatever.
Yeah.
But, so, and it's all over the world, so you can imagine that's a lot of people. And a logistical nightmare.
Yes. That is usually why we kind of like love it and hate it.
Yes.
Especially getting going because we know what's in store. All the behind the scenes work and all of the details that need to be taken care of to make sure it goes smoothly. And then we know that a lot of people are going to follow this stuff and read up and study and listen to this episode in its fullest and maybe listen to it twice. And then there's people that won't listen to any of it and they're going to reach out to us.
Not nice. What? Yeah. You said listen to this episode, listen to it twice. And then there's some people that won't listen because they're naughty, not nice.
Oh.
Anyway, continue.
And they'll reach out to us after it's already closed and be like, I didn't get in.
And yep. And so
first notice. It's coming.
It's coming. Yep. And so let's talk about what is new for 2023. Or, well, I don't know. What do you want to do?
We can do the new stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So, one of the biggest things that we've done year after year is those that have participated in the past have got preference to get signed up before anyone else because they're basically like loyal and have done this before, so they kind of know what they're getting into and all that stuff. We are changing that this year because we are not growing the pool of entries that we're accepting. If we give out 1,000 people to Head Start, what's to stop everyone from signing up again and taking all the spots? So, what we are going to do, so everyone's going to be able to sign up at the exact same time, which is Sunday, December 15th at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. And then the spots will stay open until 1,000 spots are full.
Yeah, but if you did participate in 2022, you will get an email between October 7th and 9th with all of the info about this year's Pot Swap, including like a calendar reminder of when signups go live. So you do get like a little...
You get a little bit of a notice besides like, oh, I didn't hear the podcast, or I didn't look at the Instagram account, or I haven't been on social media for months, or
friends told me.
Whatever. Like I get it. There's many different ways that people get their information. Like somebody reached out and said, I don't listen to podcasts because I have hearing issues or something like that. And they're like, I won't be listening to it. Is there information somewhere else? So, the website will have stuff. So Wheel Talk Podcast. Our website will have all of this same info that we're going to talk about on it.
Yep.
Documented. By the time you hear this, it's going to be published. And all the details are there. So study up. So basically we put it on you all. People should already be doing this, but set your reminders so that if you need 2 and 3 reminders or 5 reminders, whatever, typically it doesn't fill up for at least 24 hours. So get on it. I have a feeling it's going to last longer than that because we don't give people a head start.
Yeah.
So I think that will give everybody a fair shot to join that wants to join. Obviously not everybody because we have more than 1,000 people, but like what I'm saying. Like everybody that's on it and ready to go sets a reminder. Like you should have no problem getting in.
Yep.
So that's one of the bigger changes that's coming this year.
A lot of the changes this year focus around international shipping, just because we've had a ton of confusion in the past and a ton of like pots that haven't made it, and since most of the people that join Pot Swap are in the United States, I think last year we probably had like 20 to 30 internationally, and then Canada.
We have about 80% of people that are from the U.S. and Canada, I think.
And Canada. And we don't consider Canada international because it's on the same continent. So it's not as hard to get it to Canada, to get the box to Canada. Now, it will take a little bit more time, and it does cost a little bit more money. But typically we have tiers of like, are you willing to ship internationally? Are you willing to, or do you want to just ship domestically? And this year, you will not be shipping internationally unless you have shipped internationally before, whether it be like your cousin lives in Italy and you have to ship her stuff, or you've done it in the past in Pot Swap.
Just shipped pottery for your business or something internationally. It becomes an issue where either pieces have a higher potential to get broken because you haven't done it before. You don't know like the proper packing material and way to do it so that it's secure. You could overpack it and you have to pay out the ass for shipping, and it's like, oh, I didn't mean to do that, or
and this is more coming from the United States, not coming from the international countries, because they have to ship pretty much wherever.
International regardless.
Yeah.
And there's also been like, oh, I'm going to sign up for international because that means I'm going to get somebody international in return. So, like, I want to do that. So it's like, I get, like we said before, there's not a big enough pool to say everybody that wants to ship international is going to ship international, as well as they're going to receive something international. So, like, the numbers just don't add up there. So we have to try to do our best to get the people that have the highest likelihood of sending a pot off, having it arrive safely, as well as like on the other end, like the person that's shipping to the US or whatever, it has like a high likelihood of it arriving safely as well. And like, pots take forever. It's so hard to know country to country like what the customs are and the shipping and all that stuff. So it's really tough, and we constantly get emails or survey responses that are like, my thing never came and it was international. And like a lot of times it's because it's shipped international. Like I don't know what it is about it, but there's something in there that it creates an issue.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to track and keep up with.
Right. And on that note, if you will be shipping internationally this year, you will be paired with your partner. So usually you ship to a random person and like, so let's say Susie is shipping to Tony, but Tony isn't shipping back to Susie. Tony's shipping to like Brenda. So it's kind of like you're never usually paired with the person that is getting your pot. This year, international people will be paired with the person that they are sending to and receiving from. So if Ryan lived in
I would ship into Lindy in London. He would ship to me in Kentucky.
And we feel like this is going to maybe make it a little bit more accountable and a little bit easier. So
you'll pretty much share the burden of the cost of shipping as well, because you're shipping equally. So like that should be closer in shipping, and then you also can stay in communication. It also is difficult because if you want to keep it a secret, but we need like more communication for the international people so that there's a higher likelihood that it arrives. Even if you're like, okay, I'm letting the secret out, but like they don't know what piece you made, and it's still a surprise. So like the more communication you have when you're shipping that way, I think it's just a better likelihood of it arriving safely and like everybody being aware what's going on.
Because like some people are like in Indonesia, like we've had Indonesia and Japan and Australia and New Zealand and all of those different countries, and it's a lot.
Yeah.
Like every different country has a different situation going on with shipping. So
yeah, some post offices are better than others, and yeah. Okay, so another thing that we're gonna have on the entry form. So some of these you're gonna see these in the entry form when you fill it out that are gonna like influence some of this stuff. So international for sure. The next one is gonna be a new question that we add that's gonna ask, are you a clay maker and did you make the piece yourself in 2023? So occasionally, and usually we hear this through feedback, we get feedback that says, I got this thing, it didn't look like it's something they made, or it's not clay, or it's something that doesn't really fit with the spirit of Pot Swap, which is supposed to be people that make stuff in clay. They've made it themselves, and then they shipped it out, and it's something that they made they're proud of. Occasionally we'll get something that is outside of that, and it's just kind of odd and doesn't really, the receiver is kind of confused and they feel weird telling us about it, and like I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say to the person that sent it. Like it's just kind of weird. So
so this is just kind of like one more layer so that if somebody clicks it and it's like you're confirming that you're going to make this pot in 2023, or you have made it in 2023, like it's not a second, it's new, it's something from clay, not air dry. Well, I don't know if we should count air dry clay, but yeah, not air dry clay, not polymer clay, like it's from the ground clay. And it's just like one more step just to confirm, because you would not believe.
Some of the surveys we got are really questionable. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
See,
So
like you would think we wouldn't have to specify this, but there are a few cases where it comes up and it's like, I don't know what this is, or
and that further, that if they mark it as confirming and then we hear later from somebody else that it was an older piece or a second or not even clay at all, we can put them on the naughty list and they're not coming back. So
yeah, we have a naughty list that we've compiled the last couple of years. And I mean, we don't have that many people on there. We have maybe 30 total, but it's, I mean, we don't want to have to turn people away, but it's also like, don't give us a dusty piece that you pulled out of a box somewhere, or it's something somebody gifted you that you don't want anymore, but you still want to like get something in return. Like, it should be something that you've made recently.
And yeah, I mean, after all, this is definitely something that we hope that people approach this from a giving standpoint as instead of a receiving standpoint. Obviously, it's fun to receive, but it's also really fun to give. And we just, we've like pounded that. We've like said that every single year. We're like, it's so much fun to give. Please give. And we're not going to stop.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And if you're in this to say, oh, I didn't get an equivalent thing in return, and I feel like you all should match people up based on their skill level, or else it's not worth it. Like, that's the risk you run doing this. Like, we don't want to limit it to people, and we don't want to group people based on how skilled you are, not skilled you are. We don't have time to do that. We don't want to do that. It's kind of, okay, you're allowed on this side of the rope, and you're not allowed over. You're still over there, and you'll deal with your people, and you'll exchange with your people, and then we'll see if you get to this point. Like, we don't want to do that. So beginners are allowed, intermediate, advanced. Like, anybody's allowed to participate. Like we said earlier, you got to be able the clay maker, do it yourself this year. Like, that's kind of the criteria. But like Becca said, it's about giving, not receiving. So,
like, for example, last year I chose to be like super randomly selected. Normally Ryan picks out the person that gives to me, and last year we were all really tired, and I was like, I don't care who gives me something. Like, it's gonna be great. And I ended up getting a piece that was, I would say, like, it was fun and quirky, and maybe not like the best, like they weren't like, haven't been in ceramics like for years and years and years. It wasn't like
they're still growing and learning and stuff.
Yeah, they're still learning, and there was like underglazed transfers all over it, and she like looked into my life and figured out that I was gonna be living in a van, and she made me a piece that wasn't a cup because she was like, I figured you could use a garlic grater instead, so she made me a garlic grater, and it's amazing. And like, she sent me caramels, and she sent me some like chocolate and stuff from her hometown, and it was awesome. It was such a great gift, even though like it maybe didn't have like professional level craft. I was like, this is awesome, because it, like, they actually tried their hardest and they put a lot of thought into it. So that's how we want you to hopefully approach this.
Yeah, and like, do your best to put something behind it. Like, put the story or put some information about like why you decided to do what you did or send what you sent. A little bit about yourself, how long you've been making in clay, like something besides just putting the piece in a box and shipping it. How do they contact you? What's your name? What's your account? Like, some people just send it and they have no idea who they were.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, I don't even know who to contact to thank,
Yeah. So make sure you're putting in at least your Instagram handle, at least an email if you don't have an Instagram, something to contact you by, and hopefully a note. Oh, P.S. My person last year didn't even know that I organized it, which I loved.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dude, that's great.
Yeah, it was great.
Special treatment because you organized it.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, those things like take it and like those are the things that we can't plan for and tell people to do. They just go crazy with it, like customizing and putting things in there that are from your hometown or your city or wherever that make it more unique and more about the gift and just making it an experience. And like people go above and beyond and it just gets really to be something that like we can't plan for. So
Yeah, and like let's just say you don't have to go above and beyond. You know, a pot is the minimal amount that you need to do. And if you're in a tough spot right now and you can't afford anything other than a pot, that's totally fine. You know, that's like 100% fine. We completely understand. And I would hope most people understand that everybody's in a certain situation in their life, you know. So,
especially with the holidays and stuff like that. So
right. Oh, also another thing we should say is that remember that not everybody celebrates Christmas, especially if you're shipping internationally, and not everybody is religious. So keep that in mind. If you know,
like, you mean the peace sign or
yeah. But just
yeah,
keep that
but
in mind as you're sending.
also if you know that they're like Jewish or something, like maybe making something that has something Hanukkah related is not the most appropriate thing to make either. Like,
Yeah. We try to keep it pretty neutral.
keep it pretty neutral. We also say like you don't have to send a mug. You don't have to send like choose to send whatever you want to send.
Yep.
I think we just mentioned like, no seconds, something that retails around 25 to 50 depending on your price point.
Yep.
If you need some guidelines, but a lot of people send mugs, bowls, stuff like that, but it doesn't have to be that.
Yeah.
Something you should be proud of. Yeah. Do you want to read the last thing on there about the new changes?
Yeah. So we've had people in the past that have offered to ship a second piece because sometimes something happens, somebody doesn't get a pot, or somebody a life situation happens and they can't send out a pot. Last year, unfortunately, we had somebody whose house burned down, which was really super sad. And so this year we'll be adding a new question to the entry form asking if you're willing to send a second pot in the case that someone doesn't receive their pot swap item by the end of the year. And we will cover the additional shipping costs if you end up shipping a second piece. So it won't be financially on you to ship a second piece. Just the pot is what you'll be covering.
Yeah. And just because you sign that up, but just because you sign up and say that you're willing to ship a second piece doesn't mean you're going to ship a second piece. We'll reach out to people and let you know if you need to, if you're willing to ship one, and then you confirm, and then we'll give you the details of who you need to ship to. So
yeah, we've just had it in the past. We just figured putting a question on the survey would be easier because in the past people have just messaged us randomly. So having this.
Yeah, usually we'll put it out and be like, who's willing to ship a second one? And then you got to go find their info, and we're basically creating another list. And then some people are like, I didn't get in pot swap, but I'd be willing to ship something if somebody doesn't get, like, we're just going to keep it in the entry form. Yeah. So we have all the info together, and makes it a little bit easier. So.
Yep. So those are all the new things.
Just like always, take your time filling it out. Think of it in a number standpoint. There are 1,000 of you. There are actually 2 or 3 of us that are looking at all the entries.
Yeah.
So like, take your time to fill out everything. Don't use the autocomplete and let it fill out your address. Like, take your time, confirm your email, confirm your address, make sure everything's there. Don't give me a 123 Main Street and submit it. Like,
unless you are actually on 123 Main Street.
With no city and state and zip code?
Oh, yeah, definitely. We need a city, state, and zip code. And unfortunately, in Google Forms, we can't, like, make you...
Because international formats are different. And
yeah, so you have to double check
double, triple check, like submit it. If you worry that you mess something up, like maybe submit a second one just to be, but don't just do it right the first time. Submit it, because there are issues that come up and people's emails say gmail.com on there and whatever.
Yeah, and remember, if you're in the form, you are in PotSwap. So
if you're able to submit the form and see the thank you page, you got in. So
don't rush through it. You don't need to rush through it. Once it stops, the link will actually go away. So
yeah, and you'll land on it and it'll say, sorry, all the spots are full. So
yeah,
for our sake, please take your time, fill it out properly, double check, triple check, make sure everything's right, and then submit it. And yeah. All right, do you want to go through the timeline of everything, or I kind of want to talk about the design contest, since we don't know if people are going to listen to all this.
Oh, yeah, we should talk about the design contest.
All right. So what did we do last year?
Last year, I created a t-shirt because we kind of did it last minute, and a PotSwap t-shirt, and then we sold it on my Etsy, and we were going to give all the proceeds to PotSwap, but I ended up keeping them. And
that will not happen this year.
That is not going to happen this year.
I don't know how many we sold, but it was about 50 or something like that.
Yeah, it was a good amount. This year, we are going to have a design contest for the t-shirts that we will be having, and
you don't actually have to be a PotSwap participant to be in the design contest also.
No.
So if you have good drawing or illustration skills, sweet.
Yeah.
You should
okay.
do.
Yeah, and so the deadline for the contest is Friday, October 27th at midnight, and we need them sent to our PotSwap official Gmail. So it's potswapofficial@gmail.com. It needs to be a high-quality vector file for printing on a t-shirt, and it can be full color. That's fine. And we will be doing a bracket system on stories for who wins.
So it's basically going to be, you come up with some design of your own making that commemorates PotSwap.
Yeah.
For 2023. So if you could probably look at the design from last year, I think it's probably in our Instagram somewhere where you can see kind of what Becca came up with. But something unique, you draw it yourself and submit it to us through email, and then we're gonna create a voting through Instagram stories in kind of like a bracket format. So let's say it's kind of like the March Madness bracket. If you've seen Mug Madness from some of those accounts,
yeah,
where they put one up against the other and then people vote on it. So we're gonna do something like that. So hopefully we get, I don't know, 8 or so. That would be nice. Maybe we'll get more.
Watch, we end up with 25.
The nice numbers would be 8, 16, 32. That way they pair up nicely. But yeah, we'll basically put head to head, and then we'll do the bracket style the week of November 29th. So we'll get it says deadline October 27th. I think I meant to say October 29th.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the week of October 29th, and then we'll probably get the t-shirts up onto the website.
And it'll depend on how many entries we have, really.
Yeah. Later that week. And if you win, you obviously get a free t-shirt with your design on it. And then I think the design, by the way, you should be putting your names, your Instagram tag on the design so that we can, so it can be
credited and all that. So your info's there. And then put PotSwap 2023 on there somewhere.
Yeah.
Or whatever,
So you get a free t-shirt with your design on it, a cup from me, and a mug from Ryan, and
Is that a fancy cup from you?
Yeah, a fancy cup from me, a fancy mug
I'll
from
do
Ryan,
a fancy mug, yeah.
and a gift card to an online ceramic supply store. We do not know which store that is, so if you work for one and we want to give us donations, we're accepting them. And so that is what you get. And note that if you win, you are giving us the rights to sell the t-shirts. So, and the money will actually go into the pot swap account, not my account.
Yeah, it'll help us fund what we need to do for this year, or like if we need to help pay for shipping for people that don't like that, and then any future pot swap funds that we need for for in the future. So yeah. So deadline Friday, October 27th, 11:59 Eastern. Send it through email, potswapofficial@gmail. It's got to be a high quality vector file for printing on a t-shirt. And what did you use your iPad or something last year, and you used some?
I just drew mine on an iPad, and then I exported it as a PDF, I believe. And you need to have like the background needs to be transparent. I will get the exact like specifications before we post this. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully all the specs are like we have time to figure that out, because people are going to be voting on it, and then
and I mean, like, I can, if it's a vector file, I can go in and take the background out. It's not that big of a deal. So
so we're looking forward to that. It'll help us make it a little more unique this year. Anybody can buy the shirt, anybody can do the design. You don't have to be a participant in Pot Swap, which is cool. I think it helps us get widen the reach of like who's helping with it. Yeah, it should be fun. I always like those like bracket challenges, like head to head, and see what.
Yeah, I know, it's super fun.
Because we get like, oh man, when I started sharing stories about Pot Swap a couple weeks back, we had like 1,000 people that looked at that story.
Yeah, wild.
And we only have like 4,000 people on the account.
I know.
Like, what?
I know, it's crazy. Also, I wanted to say something before all of our like people that already know what they're doing leave. Even though I think we've pretty much covered everything anyway. If something happens, like if you sign up for Pot Swap under normal circumstances, and then something happens, for instance, your pottery studio burns down or whatever, but hopefully not. But like if something happens on the financial end or the physical end that you are not able to send a pot, if you're not financially able, please reach out to us. We want you to send a pot, and we will help you financially if we can. And if you can't send it anymore, please reach out to us. Instead of just not sending it, reach out to us, because we can also find you a new sender to send the pot. So
yeah, that's why our list of are you willing to send a second pot is important as well. So
yeah, so we like have these like donations and the t-shirt things so that we can hand out money if we need to. So
yeah, please, but like if you already know it's gonna be really risky to like meet the deadline and stuff, like I'd say don't sign up just for that and like, oh, I have a class and everything works out perfect, then I'll be able to send it on the last day before I have to have the deadline. Like, make sure you can at least fulfill the requirements when you sign up.
Yeah. And please don't take advantage of us.
Yes.
Obviously.
Because we are all volunteers and we do not have to be doing this.
No. And what we get for payment is a nice dinner out. And that's
we still have not used.
Which we still have not used, but we will after the coffee festival.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. So one second to last thing. I feel like somebody else mentioned this, that we didn't mention this enough, but we just said it's Becca and I that like manage it, and then there's also a group of about 10 to 15 volunteers that help us. Most of them are doing like Instagram takeovers. If you're tagging Pot Swap Official, if you're hashtagging Pot Swap and you're putting this in your posts and all that, like definitely share all that stuff. And we kind of interchange people throughout the whole like 2 month cycle, so it's not all the work on us. And it is volunteer, so if you like Pot Swap, you want us to keep doing it, you don't have to donate anything, but if you want to donate to help offset some of the costs, help us with some of that shipping stuff, if you want to help us pay for our dinner when we end up doing that, and you appreciate it, we will be thankful. I'll get a Mai Tai probably, or some kind of fruity drink. Becca, what did you drink last time? Do you remember? Did you have some wine? I think we all had wine, actually.
No, I had wine. Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. You can do that on PayPal. We have a PayPal account for the Wheel Talk account. So it's Wheel Talk Podcast on PayPal. So.
Yeah. And we'll obviously go to a steakhouse because that's what Ryan likes.
Ooh, yes.
And I'll eat anything. So.
Yes, it was very good. We had fun with the waiter last time too, I think, and we got like some desserts. So it was good. The cheesecake. I think we had cheesecake or carrot cake. The carrot cake was fucking massive.
Carrot cake of all time, and it was like the best fucking carrot cake. It was so good. And we got like a free little espresso cup thingy.
Yeah.
Because I told them that we were celebrating things, which we weren't really, but.
Which they were probably like, "What? You're celebrating a podcast? Something?"
I told them when they were like, "Are you celebrating anything today?" And I was like, "Yeah, being awesome." And and you get free ice cream too because it was like really melty.
Yeah, he was like, "We have this stuff, but I don't think it's supposed to be on the menu because it's like half melted, but like we have it."
Yeah. Okay, so let's go over the timeline.
Yes. All right, so today, when this releases, it is September 30th. The episode's released. All the information is published on the website, wheeltalkpodcast.com. You can see all the info there, which is basically everything we covered here. And then the next thing is October 7th through 9th. All the Pot Swap 2022 participants are going to be emailed with all the details and calendar reminder to sign up for Pot Swap 2023 on the day it goes live. No early access will be given this year since we are capping the entries to 1,000 again. So we already talked about that. The reason it takes 3 days is because we're limited. We can only send out 400 emails per day with our email mail merge system that we use. So that's just how it is. So it will take 3 days to send any emails we send out. So be patient. It's going to take a bit. So don't be like, oh, people are sharing that they received an email. I didn't get one yet. Like, where's mine? So that's why it takes 3 days. All right. You want to go to the next one?
Yep.
The one everybody wants to know.
Oh, yeah. So Pot Swap assignments are emailed out on November 1st.
No. The October 15th.
Oh, never mind.
Fail, Becca. Fail.
I'm so sorry. October 15th, at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, Eastern Daylight Time, Pot Swap 2023 signups open for everyone.
So what that means is we're going to have on our Instagram account. It's not going to be posted anywhere else. Maybe it'll be in a story on our Instagram, but go to the Instagram account, and there's going to be a link in our bio that goes directly to the form.
Yep.
Please don't ask for the link and all that. Like, go to the page. It's going to be on our account. Go to that. Like Becca said, if you're on the form and you see it and you fill out everything, like once you hit submit, like you're in. And all the spots are going to be full when we hit 1,000. Likely it'll be a few over, but we'll see. And last year we filled it in about 24 hours after that. But keep in mind, we also gave people that participated in 2021 like a head start. So I have a feeling you'll have time if you set a reminder. You'll have plenty of time, and nobody should have to like wake up in the middle of the night to do this. I mean, if you want to do that, that's fine. If you're on the other side of the world and you want to do that, but
Yeah, the form takes like 5 minutes. And
Yeah.
by the way, we sign up via the form. Like, we sign up via the
we
form.
set it live, and I go in there and I fill it out. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're not like special by any means.
Yeah, we're not sending any heads up to like our favorite people or something like, hey, why don't you go in there and sign up? Like, here you go.
Yeah, and also if you're at work, take a long bathroom break. Like, yeah, that's all I got.
Plan ahead. I don't know.
Plan ahead. Like, we're giving you plenty of time of notice. Like 15
Sorry, doctor. I'll be in there in a minute.
Yeah. 15 days notice. Like, plan ahead. Cool. Okay, now I'm going to do the one that I did before. So October 1st is when the emails are...
That's not what it says. Are you reading this one right here?
Oh, okay. I didn't see that because there wasn't a space. October 22nd. By October 22nd, you'll get a You're In email. And remember, it takes 3 days, so we're going to start sending them on October 20th through 22nd. You're going to get a You're In Pot Swap email. And, yeah.
Basically, if you filled out the form, you're in, but this is just to ease people's nerves because people get antsy and want to know. So
yeah, and then by November 1st, that's when the assignments are emailed out. So we need about a week to kind of go through the form and match everybody up or randomize everybody. So from October 30th to November 1st, that's when the assignments are emailed out.
Yep.
Yep.
The deadlines that you care about for when you need to actually send everything out. If you are sending international, your deadline is December 1st.
Yep. And if you're sending domestic, you are December 7th. That means in the same country.
Yes. We kept the same dates as last year just because it's easy to remember. And then the last thing, we will send out reveal emails, so you'll get an email that says the person sending to you is this person with their name and Instagram account and email address. By December 21st, you'll receive that. So should be right before the end of the year. You'll find out. And then if they ideally, if you haven't received something, that's when you have their info to reach out to them. Obviously, it's kind of awkward reaching out to somebody to say, hey, I haven't received anything, but do it in a gracious way that's like, hey, I'm so excited about Pot Swap, and I was looking forward to seeing what I got. I was wondering if you had any update.
Or had a tracking
number, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're willing to send a tracking number to that person, put their email on the tracking info. They still don't know what they're getting, but...
Yeah. And also, just also, I've said this every year, and I don't know why people don't ever do it, because I think it's so smart. If you're sending to somebody and you were especially if it's international or something like that, and you didn't want your person to know who it is, ask a friend who has Instagram to send your person a note saying, hey, I know my friend is sending you a pot, but they want to remain anonymous. This is your tracking number. That is a totally that's a totally great way to do it so that you can put your person at ease,
Or just send it from an email that you have that they don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
Or have your husband or wife send it from an email or whatever. Yeah. Find a way to send them a tracking if you want to, or if you can, from an anonymous human being, Yeah,
if you're worried about the secret part of it. And also, when you receive it, at least we always get feedback in the responses about people not getting any acknowledgement. At least let them know that it arrived safely.
Oh, yeah, that's big.
because people were like, I sent this thing and I never got any acknowledgement. Like some people want the social media acknowledgement that like they publicly are sharing that they have received it. But even if it's just private and you just email them or write them on Instagram, you have their info. So like,
Yeah.
hey, I just wanted to let you know that I received your piece. Thank you so much. That's all you gotta say.
That's it. Super simple. Now, I should also mention that we sound really like begrudged, but we get all the bad feedback. There are so many people that have had good experiences, and
It's overwhelmingly good. It's like 95% good.
yeah, like so many good experiences. We are just kind of like going through the things that we know have happened. And obviously, not everybody is going to have a great experience. And that is just unfortunately what happens sometimes. But that's why, I mean, we are trying our hardest to kind of like eliminate certain things that make it hard. And yeah, but most people have had great experiences, and that's what we love to see. And it is, once it gets into the full swing of things, it's absolutely amazing to watch what people get and what they're sending, and like
what they're making, and they're sharing the unboxing and the excitement, and like, the volunteer staff that takes over and like gets creative with what they share. Some people share like what they received last year, or what they're making now to do for their pot swap person. So like there's so many pieces to this that people just come up with some way to personalize it and make it special, that we can't like go through a list of rules to tell you what to do, but like people just are gracious and like come up with things that make it special. So
yeah,
it definitely pays off. It's we kind of like drag our feet to the signups and everything early on every year, I feel like, but it pays off, and
yeah.
hopefully you still hear the positivity in our voice and not all the don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this,
Yeah.
don't do that part. Like,
Because it is like a 3-month process for us, so we're kind of like making sure everything is going okay. Now, I want to touch on something before we go, because we're pretty much covered everything,
yeah.
but the only thing we didn't cover was international shipping, and I'm going to talk about that really quick. So, if you are shipping internationally, there is a section on our website that you should read that has information, but I'm going to go over it really quickly. There's a tariff code for stoneware pottery, like tableware, and it's for every nation, and that is, I'm going to say it twice so that you can like pause it and find a piece of paper. It's 691-200-23. Okay, again, that's 691-200-23. Tariff codes are often called hermetization codes. So if you can't find a tariff code, that's probably what it's called. I think it's hermetization.
I don't know.
I think it starts with an H.
If they've sent international before, they probably know where to put it.
Probably no. You need to mark your gift. You need to mark it as a gift with a value under $20, because there is no intrinsic value anyway. Did I use the word intrinsic right just there?
I don't know. There's no hard value on paper.
Yeah. Hard paper value. Anyway, mark your gift as a value under $20. That way they don't have to pay any money when they receive the gift, because sometimes they can slap on code like
customs fees, and you're going to have to pay. Yeah. They're going to have to pay to receive it.
If you start like, your shipping costs should be between $40 and $60. To make this possible, if it's less than 2 pounds, that's usually like the sweet spot. 2 and under is like a really good sweet spot for shipping. Do not use UPS. Use United States Postal Service. That is what you want to use. Do not use UPS.
If you're shipping from the States, yes.
If you're shipping from the States internationally, it's $300.
Somebody messaged us last year that said it cost $300 to ship the thing.
If you have a cost of $300, do not ship it. Contact us, please, and we will help you figure it out. We do not want anybody paying $300 to ship a piece of pottery.
And if you're on the fence and you're like, I don't know what to do, but the deadline's coming up, and I want to make sure that I abide by the deadline so I don't get kicked out next year, so like, contact us. That's a situation where we want you to contact us.
Yeah.
Just to be like a sounding board to say, hey, this is what I'm doing. What should I do?
Right. So anyway, $40 to $60. That should be the expected shipping cost. Hopefully 40. We don't know. But yes, that's like the biggest thing. You want to mark it as a gift. You want to use your tariff code, and you want to make sure that it's try to get it around 2 pounds if you can.
Yeah. This is the one where you don't go all out and you put like 5 pieces in there and all your snacks and trinkets, and it weighs 6 pounds or 8 pounds, and you're like, this is going to be an awesome care package, and then you're going to pay $100 or $150 to ship. Like,
yeah. So like if you're sending stuff, send small stuff. Send little pieces of candy, you know?
Put extra work into that note that you're writing as well.
Yeah, put extra work. So, yeah, that's the biggest thing. And also try to pack with paper instead of air, because it is going so far up in the air, so far down in the air. All the altitude differences are huge, so make sure you're packing with paper so the air is not fluctuating.
That's a good tip for anybody shipping domestic too. But
yeah, that's just a good tip generally. So.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. I don't know. Again, Instagram's going to be the go-to place for everything. Tag PotSwap Official, and we'll share it on our stories. Tag #PotSwap 2023 so people can like follow that. We'll have people taking over Instagram. If there's something like really, really important, I would say probably use our email over DMs, because it's really hard to search through DMs when there's so many people.
Yeah.
And they'll get in contact with us if it's important and, we can't see the message or whatever. Yeah. I mean, have fun, be creative. Yeah. I don't know. Anything else? We'll probably have some Instagram content about frequently asked questions. We might put some of these rules in Instagram format so people can see that or watch that or whatever. Not committing to anything right now, but Instagram's go-to place. Email is the best, if something's important. Make sure your stuff's not landing in spam, if you need to favorite us or mark the contact or whatever. Yeah. I don't know. What else am I missing?
Sweet. No, I think that's everything. Except for Ryan.
Becca.
Have you put together your L&L kiln yet?
No, but I have my calendar set. Hot Kilns reach out to me on DMs, put a little fire under my ass, be like, hey, whatever happened with that kiln you got from Nsika? And I told him that Becca gave me a deadline, so I have my deadline. I'm gonna get done before you're here in 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy is that you got that Genesis controller for free. It wasn't even an upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
You can
that wasn't a special Wheel Talk podcast RD Ceramics upgrade for free. It's anybody can get the upgrade.
Yeah, and if you got one of those at another kiln company that I won't mention, you'd have to pay. You'd have to pay $160, but you get it. Just comes with
for free.
For free.
Yes.
I'm pretty stoked to see the brand spanking new kiln in your garage, in your basement.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice and shiny.
I'm also pretty stoked not to move it down there.
I bet you are. We already went through the process of moving it into the garage very safely. It's still got saran wrap on it, so it's nice and safe.
do you think the first firing that you're going to do in your Biggie kiln is going to be?
I think you're supposed to oxidize the elements first, so I think it'll be empty.
Damn, I was totally going to be like, trick question. You're supposed to oxidize the elements.
I think I learned that from talking on here, or talking with somebody that we interviewed that shared that.
Yeah. I'm really excited because by the time I get to your house, I'll be able to get the fire in the kiln, and it's going to be so nice and so clean.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've even got the kiln outside that's for the soda kiln. That's an L&L.
Yeah.
And I'm going to start working on that soon. I got to get the other one hooked up first, but it was funny. We were at the tour, and somebody was like, oh, do you have kilns at your house? And I was like, yeah, I've got 2. Actually, 3. No, 4. Erica's like, yeah, he's got some kilns.
Yeah. That's like me and Wheels. Sweet. Well, where can you find a brand new L&L kiln, Ryan?
Yes, so you can go to hotkilns.com. All of that info is also in our show notes.
Yeah. hotkilns.com.
Yes.
Yes.
So go there.
We
look at the kiln options, all the good stuff. Get the controller.
We added this into the end. We're trying to switch it up, mostly because we forgot, but that's okay. Forgot to put it in the middle.
Yeah, so my kiln is the E23T. And, looking forward to it.
It's a 7 cubic foot kiln, right? It's 23 inches across.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got this one's got the thicker brick. So I think it's 3.5 inch brick versus like 3 inch or 2.5 inch. I can't remember. But
yeah, you're going to be able to flip that kiln this fast.
Yeah, it's got to use slightly smaller kiln shelves, but I've got the smaller kiln shelves, so it'll work fine.
Yep. Cool.
All right. Thanks everybody for listening. Join Pod Swap, set reminders, do all that stuff. Yeah, we're gonna push the hell out of this episode. So everybody, info, and it's gonna be great. 1,000 people strong.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a great year.
Sweet.
All right. Thanks everybody for listening. We'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for listening to another episode of Wheel Talk. This podcast is made possible through the contributions of all of our listeners who always ask us great questions, leave us reviews, and contact with us through social media. Thanks to all the fellow makers as well who take time to be interviewed and share about their lives and businesses.
And thank you to Ashley from Boldover Ceramics and Lindy from Lindy Garner Ceramics for their assistance on the Wheel Talk podcast Instagram. You are invaluable. Thank you to everybody.